And we will then be able to ventilate the decisions of the NEC at a briefing that will take place on Tuesday, a day after tomorrow. We are also going to receive the National Working Committee report to the NEC, which covers matters of a geopolitical nature, that covers domestic issues, that also covers matters related to the state of organization. That's a detailed report that projects the work that has been done by the National Working Committee since the last NEC. And that, of course, will be presented by the Secretary General, focusing also on organizational renewal and implementation of conference resolutions, focusing on disciplinary processes that are underway, focusing also on the membership audit and looking at reactivating our branches using the barometer of branch functionality that has since been adopted, that ANC uses to rebuild our branches. We are also receiving, during this time, as we speak, a report by the Integrity Commission's chairperson and other commissioners to the NEC on matters of integrity management and ethical practice that needs to be attended to. We will then be able to reflect on the decisions of the NEC on that particular report. And of course, cases that are under review regarding the ethical conduct of leaders, as well as fast-tracking consequence management and strengthening those mechanisms within the organization. Today, we're also looking at a briefing that is led by Comrade Kgalema Motlanthe on the Electoral Committee's work, looking at post-election evaluations and looking at deepening internal democracy in as far as how we select and elect those that represent us both within the organization as well as in public office. And of course, the most important one involving the community in the selection of candidates, which is a standing decision of the ANC. But we want to now really do that in earnest, making sure that it contributes to a reconnection with our communities, giving communities a chance to nominate a candidate through the ANC process. And of course, we'll also be discussing the ANC approach to the SACP's decision to stand independently in relation to contesting political power. And of course, the NEC would consider the implications of that decision and looking at the historical alliance unity and how we manage that under these conditions, as well as conditions for alliance cohesion post-2024. So those are some of the reflections that will be there in the paper that will be presented. You would know, colleagues, that as I move to other organizational matters, you will know that in December this year, the ANC will hold a historic National General Council. And preparations for the National General Council have begun in earnest. And part of the presentations regarding that, we're going to basically be looking at the framework and the discussion documents that will be looked at the NGC and the work we must do with those documents through our branches, making sure that those that are elected democratically to go and represent the provinces in the NGC are fully and well acquainted with the discussion documents and also have mandated positions. And those are some of the things that we are going to look at. So there are draft discussion documents that have been adopted, and they will now go through the internal processes of the ANC, and that looks at leadership, that looks at the performance of the organization, that looks at our election strategy, and all matters that have got to be attended to by the NGC, which is a midterm review of the implementation of the resolutions that are adopted in the year 2022 from the 55th National Conference. I will then leave it at that and also just give an indication that we will hold that media briefing where we communicate the outcomes of the NEC on all these matters that I've outlined in the agenda. And it will be at that point where we're going to be able to go into the detail of issues and to allow yourselves to respond to resolutions of the ANC. So all that we're doing at this point is to just give you an update, and that discussions are still underway. I'd like to end there. And I'm happy to take questions if there are any. NCA?
So in regard to these matters pertaining to, I think the way you put it, you says, trying to look at cases that are under review regarding the ethical conduct of leaders. Maybe give us an indication. Are there cases that are before GC or cases that are before the Integrity Commission, or you are referring to cases that would have been concluded and you are re-looking into them? You can just clarify.
We have cases that are before the disciplinary committee. We have cases that are before the Integrity Commission. The Integrity Commission is processing those cases. And also where there is a review on the basis of new information, that is possible for it to happen. It's part of the terms of reference.
And which leaders are we referring to here?
We are not discussing individuals. As you know, it is not organizational practice to come and speak about individuals when their matter is currently under discussion. We will then communicate in due course. I'm happy to take another question. SABC?
Ndebo. Sis Mahlengi, if I understand you, are you saying this is the last briefing, so tomorrow there's nothing from here, there's nothing that's going to happen? And when it comes to the issue of the NGC, am I getting you right to say the NGC discussion documents have been adopted? The draft NGC document, discussion documents have been adopted?
Correct. They have been adopted. There is a base document, there's a framework document that looks at all those matters that I've just highlighted. And the reason why we want to do it early is to ensure that there is a thorough process that contributes to the renewal of the organization, the involvement of branches, including regional conferences that are going to be sitting, should be favored with those documents that have been adopted.
Just a quick final one. There has been some regional conferences which were disputed. In mind, I have some in Limpopo. If I stand to be corrected, I think they are 3. Is that up for discussion as well? Is the NEC being briefed, or is it expected to decide on the standing of those regions that are disputed?
Yes, it is definitely part of the agenda. It forms part of the NWC report to the NEC. There will be a reflection on all the regional conferences that have taken place, and related also to the litigations, if there are any, and the outcomes of those. We have had contestations in Limpopo. We also have court outcomes, but there will be a discussion. I can confirm that.
Maybe on this outsourcing of the responsibility of the ANC in terms of selecting possible candidates for local elections, local government elections. There's been a number of problems emanating from that process. Is there anything that you will be doing differently this time around to make sure that at the end or post-elections there are no disputes and you don't have to explain yourself in anything?
Well, let me indicate that we are not outsourcing the processes of selecting and electing candidates. We are involving community participation. The process is very much of an internal ANC process led by one of our veterans, former Secretary General Kgalema Motlanthe, who's well versed with how to manage a process such as that one. We have already appointed the provincial list committees. That is also going to be reported here. So there's a great deal of progress that is being made. to get the provincial list committees to work, and of course to work with existing provincial dispute resolution committee. So that work has already been done. It's been processed by the National Working Committee. The terms of reference of the provincial list committee have already been drawn up, and we are expecting that they should get to work as soon as possible, supported by the leadership of the electoral committee. The guidelines that are proposed are being presented as I was just stepping out to come here. With that, I am happy for us to adjourn. Other housekeeping matters will be addressed by the media liaison team. Thank you very much.